Hey! This would not be comfortable. Welcome back to another exciting episode. Today we are at the Hampton Roads Naval Museum to see the Battleship, Wisconsin. So come along with us and see what we can see. Parking can be a challenge. They do have some handicap parking towards the front, but you're on your own other than that. But they do have some parking garages here and there. For the admission cost and the hours of operation, go ahead and look at my last video on the Hampton Roads Naval Museum. It'll tell you all that good stuff.
They have Nauticus After Dark. 21 plus.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The USS Wisconsin is one of the highlights that we really wanted to explore. This battleship is awesome and huge. So this might be a little bit of a long video, but it is gonna be worth it. Just you wait and see. Haha. Throughout the video, I will give you as much information that I can from their print literature and websites, and we'll throw a little bit of commentary in as well, now and again. But just so you know, we really appreciate you watching our videos, and we really enjoy making them for you. So we do ask that you push all the appropriate buttons down below. And without further ado, let's explore the Battleship USS Wisconsin. Berthed at Nauticus, the Battleship Wisconsin is one of the largest and last battleships ever built by the U.S. Navy. Designated BB-64, it is an Iowa-class battleship built for the United States Navy in the 1940s and is currently a museum ship. Completed in 1944, this ship was assigned to the Pacific Theater during World War II, where she participated in the Philippines campaign in the Battle of Iwo Jima and Okinawa. This battleship shelled the Japanese home island shortly before the end of the war in September of 1945. During the Korean War, Wisconsin shelled North Korean targets in support of United Nations and South Korean ground operations, after which she was decommissioned. She was reactivated in 1986 after a modernization program of the United States. She participated in Operation Desert Storm in January to February of 1991. The Wisconsin was last decommissioned in September of 1991 after spending a total of 14 years in active service. In that time, the ship earned 6 battle stars for service in World War II and Korea, as well as a Navy Unit Commendation for service during the January-February 1991 Gulf War. Wisconsin was stricken from the Navy vessel registration on March 17, 2006, and was later donated for permanent use as a museum ship. As of 2024, Wisconsin is this museum ship that is operated by Nauticus in Norfolk, Virginia. They do have restrooms on the ship, but only use them if you absolutely have to, and does it appear as though they are handicapped accessible, which makes sense considering when the ship was made and what it was used for. In general, the Iowa-class ships consisted of 9 16-inch 50 caliber Mark 7 guns in 3 triple gun turrets on the center line. Now 2 of which were placed in a super firing pair forward of the superstructure, and the 3rd was aft. Going from bow to stern, the turrets were designated of course, 1, 2, and 3. The secondary battery consisted of 20 5-inch 38 caliber dual-purpose guns mounted in twin gun turrets clustered amidshift, 5 turrets on each broadside. Unlike their half-sisters Iowa and New Jersey, that were the first pair of ships built, the Missouri and the Wisconsin were completed with an anti-aircraft suite of 20 quadruple mounts for 40mm Bofors AA guns, 9 mounts on each broadside and 1 each on the roofs of turrets 2 and 3. 49 20mm Loken Light AA autocannon in single mounts were distributed amongst the length of the ships. The Wisconsin is 887 feet 3 inches long overall and is 860 feet long at the waterline. The ship has a beam of 108 feet 2 inches and a draft of 37 feet 9 inches at her full combat load of 57,540 long tons. The Iowa-class ships are powered by 4 General Electric geared steam turbines, each driving 1 skew propeller using steam provided by 8 oil-filled Babcock and Wilson boilers. Rated at 212,000 shaft horsepower, the turbines were designed to give a top speed of 32.5 knots, which is about 37.5 miles per hour. But they were built to handle a 20% overload. None of the Iowas ever ran speed trials in deep water, but the Bureau of Ships estimated that they could reach a speed of about 34 knots, which is approximately 39 miles per hour. These ships had a designed cruising range of 15,000 nautical miles at a speed of 15 knots. Although Wisconsin's half-sister, New Jersey, their fuel consumption figures during her sea trial suggest that her range was at least 20,150 miles at a 15-knot cruising speed. Their designed crew numbered about 117 officers and 1,804 enlisted men, and greatly increased by the end of the war in 1945. In fact, Wisconsin's crew at the time numbered 173 officers and 2,738 sailors. As far as the history, the Wisconsin was the second ship of the United States Navy to be named after the U.S. state of Wisconsin. The ship was authorized by Congress in 1938 and ordered on June 12, 1940, with the hull number BB-64. Her keel was laid down on January 25, 1941, at the Philadelphia Naval Yard. She was launched on December 7, 1943, sponsored by Mrs. Goodland, wife of Walter S. Goodland, the governor of Wisconsin, and commissioned on April 16, 1944, with Captain Earl E. Stone in command. Wisconsin is numerically the highest numbered U.S. battleship built. Although her keel was laid after Missouri's, she was commissioned before Missouri's commissioning date.
Oh my. Yeah, this would not be comfortable.
Nice and roomy, huh?
I'm standing straight up. Not for me.
Wisconsin was commissioned on April 16, 1944, while Missouri was commissioned on June 11th of the same year. Thus, Wisconsin's construction began after Missouri's and finished earlier. Iowa and Wisconsin were finally stricken from the Naval Vessel Registry on March 17, 2006, making them the last battleships in service in the world. Now, that was a lot of statistics and a lot of factual information for you, but let's take a little bit of break and just do what I always say and see what we can see. And I'll meet you on the other side with some more information, with a little bit of family humor thrown in.
Now, folks, any questions I can answer for you?
No, sir. I believe we are good, but thank you so much.
Combination lock.
With the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s and the absence of a perceived threat to the United States came drastic cuts in the defense budget. The high cost of maintaining and operating battleships as part of the United States Navy's active fleet became uneconomical. As a result, Wisconsin was decommissioned on September 30th, 1991, after 14 total years of active service, and joined the reserve fleet at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. She was stricken from the Naval Vessel Registry on January 12, 1995. Then, on October 15, 1996, she was moved to the Norfolk Navy Shipyard, and on February 12, 1998, she was restored to the Naval Vessel Registry. On December 7, 2000, the battleship was towed from Portsmouth, Virginia, and berthed adjacent to Nauticus, the National Maritime Center in Norfolk. On April 16, 2001, the battleship's weather deck were opened to the public by Hampton Roads Naval Museum, a U.S. Navy museum charged with Wisconsin's interpretation and public visitation. Now, the ship was still owned by the Navy and was considered part of the mothball fleet. Wisconsin was named as one of the 2 U.S. Navy battleships to be maintained in the reserve fleet in accordance to the National Defense Authorization Act of 1996 as shore bombardment vessels. However, Wisconsin was then over 60 years old and would have required extensive modernization to return to the fleet, since most of her technology dated back to World War II, and the missile and electronic warfare equipment added to the battleship during her 1988 to 1989 modernization was considered obsolete. In addition, the cost of modernizing the battleship was estimated to be around $500 million for reactivation and $1.5 billion for full modernization. On March 17, 2006, the Secretary of the Navy struck Wisconsin from the Naval Vessel Registry, which cleared the way for the ship to be donated for use as a museum. However, the U.S. Congress remained deeply concerned over the loss of a Navy surface gunfire support that the battleship provided, and noted Navy efforts to improve upon, much less replace, this capability have been highly problematic. Partially as a consequence, Congress passed a bill, the National Defense Authorization Act of 2006, requiring that battleships be kept and maintained in a state of readiness should they ever be needed again. Congress had ordered that the following measures be implemented to ensure that Wisconsin could be returned to active duty if needed. She must not be altered in any way that would impair her military duty. The battleship must be preserved in her present condition through the continued use of cathodic protection, dehumidification systems, and any other preservation methods as needed. Spare parts and unique equipment, such as the 16-inch 406mm gun barrels and projectiles, must be preserved in an adequate number to support Wisconsin if reactivated. And the Navy must prepare plans for the rapid reactivation of Wisconsin should she be returned to the Navy in the event of a national emergency. Now, these conditions closely mirror the original three conditions that the National Defense Authorization Act of 1996 laid out for the maintenance of Wisconsin while she was in the mothball fleet. On December 14th, 2009, the U.S. Navy officially transferred Wisconsin to the city of Norfolk, ending the requirement for the ship to be preserved for a possible recall to active duty. The U.S. Navy had paid the city of Norfolk $2.8 million between 2000 and 2009 to maintain the ship. A formal ceremony transferring the ship to the city of Norfolk took place on April 16, 2010. Wisconsin was listed on the National Register of Historic Places on March 28, 2012. Visitors to the ship have included the crew of the Royal Navy's HMS Prince of Wales, who also volunteered to help clean and repaint Wisconsin while stationed in Norfolk during the Westland 23 Naval Aviation Trials in 2023.
So refrigeration deck, down in the hottest part of the ship. More than 23,000 pounds of eggs, butter, and cheese could be stored in this place. Okay. Print shop. Not much to it, but let's see. Oh, a little bit more back here. Artifacts made in this print shop. We found the laundry, tailor shop and pressing. More laundry room here. Or I guess this is the laundry room since the other place was the tailor shop. And then your washing machines, I think. And you weigh your laundry and see if it weighs less after it's clean. Heading into the brig. Oh, nice. You thought the crew quarters were tight upstairs. There's 6 bunks in there. I don't know that the room's even 8 by 8. And then we have 2 cells with just 1 bunk each. And the brig's throne. It does have a curtain for privacy, and there is also a shower here. So you can do all your S's at the same time. Elias? Okay. Okay. You're staying here. I'm going. See ya.
So as you can tell, the USS Wisconsin had one heck of a history. And we really enjoyed walking her decks and looking at all her nooks and crannies. And we think you will too. So if you're ever in the area, give her a shot. And as always, have a great day.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You have a great day.
Wait a minute. Aren't we forgetting something?
Hey!